This is 2-Ton Tony right here. Oh, she's on now. Come on, 2-Ton. 2-Ton Tony. Yes, sir. Named after Tony Hawk's. Well, we're outside in the wilderness now, going down the driveway. I'm not real good with one of these things. Just have to see how she works out. So, this is the front of the house. Dupuis residence, of course. And just taking her to the top. I've got one set of lights around that right window, which is not working. We've had some winds here, so I got to go up tomorrow and hook that up. This is the front of the house. That rhododendron bush that you see there has got some white lights, some red lights. It's got a set of Santa Clauses in the middle that you can see, and I put a bunch of candy canes around it also, which are LED. You see in the front here, looks like a bunch of candles, and they're changing color. They go into sequence of green, blue, red, whatever. Over here, just to the right, is a set of well, there's a crystal reindeer, and then there's a crystal sleigh behind them. And then there's an angel, which you see there, and then there's a reindeer in front of her and behind her. So this pretty much is the front of the house. As you can see, you got Merry Christmas on the left, on the top there, and then you've got Season's Greetings in the middle, and Joyeux Noël is over on the right-hand side. There's many items, of course, on the porch. Anything from a Snoopy to penguins to snowmen to even in the background there between the angel and the snowman, you can see one of those nutcracker soldiers. I'll zoom in on him probably in a little bit. Twinkling also on the porch. It's like snowflakes, they're twinkling. Now up top of the house there are two stars. One of them is not moving, and the other one is flashing back and forth. On the inside of those two windows, which I said the one on the right there, when I take this, hopefully I'll get up on the ladder tomorrow and straighten out that set of lights. But on the inside are two candles in the windows, and there's two little trees. They're white trees, and they're on the left side of the window, and the window on the left, and the right side of the window on the right. This whole idea came about in my head probably 30 years ago. This didn't just start last week. Something I've always wanted to do, and I finally went ahead and did it. The side of the house has got quite a few decorations on it as well. It's got some stars, and it's got Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings, and Joyeux Noël as well. Of course, there's lights all around the eaves and the side of the house. They're different colored lights. There's pink, and there's purple, and there's blue down the end, and there's white. There's a couple of angels in the windows, which are put in from the inside of the house. Over the door, there's three wreaths there. One of them is, well, yeah, one of them is multicolor, and the other two are pure white color. Now in the back garage, I decided to put lights on top of the roof, and as you can see, I also have a crystal sleigh up there. There's also some snowflake changers up there as well, similar to the same type of snowflake changers that are on the porch. And there's 8 different settings. You can put them on, you know, very fast or slow or whatever. So I got them on a setting that's comfortable for me anyway. As you can see, the garage, on the right hand side is a Noel sign, and below it are 2 bells which are gold, and below that is a white wreath. So I kind of like that idea of the red, gold, and white underneath it. In the 2 windows which are placed in there on the inside of the garage are 2 Santa faces and 2 trees, and in the middle on the door, which actually is just above the door so I can still open the door and go inside the garage, is a giant wreath. Well, quite a big wreath. It's made out of that rope light look, I guess, and that's LED. Most of the stuff I have here, of course, is LED. It's about 85% probably LED. That's why the power is not going to cost me that much, because LED doesn't run any power. Okay, so let's go on the lawn here on my main lawn area between myself and Danny Corbett's house. I call this my runway area, and the front of it is Noel and snow. I just got them this year, and I like them. Now after that, you see they look like suckers, and those suckers are changers, and they go through sequences and patterns. So that's what they're doing now, as you can see. They go through a sequence. They all go through the same sequence. When one turns green, they all turn green. When one turns red, they all turn red. In between them are a set of swans, and they're the crystal look. And as a matter of fact, they've got some flashers in them. I'm going to move over here. I'll come back to that after. Now we're getting over to Danny Corbett's property, which I had permission to put stuff on. So this is the front of Danny Corbett's house, and let's get a little closer here. I've got a couple of reindeer here. They're golden, the golden ones. There's a doe, and then of course there's a buck. And they also have some little sparkly changers going on in there. Right behind them, I put it's a tree, is what it is, and this one is multicolored. I also have another one, but I'll show you that in a minute. The other one is clear lights. But this one is multicolored lights, and they go through different patterns. It's quite a nice effect, actually. Then next to that is a gold sleigh, and a gold be a deer actually. And then next to that is a crystal sleigh, and in front of the crystal sleigh is actually a skating snowman. Kind of neat. Picked him up in my travels. So that's the front of Danny Corbett's house, and which is between, of course, like I said, our property and his. Now, this is Danny Corbett's house that you're looking at here. So what I did here is I put lights on what I call his hedges. I don't know what they are actually, bushes, hedges, whatever. And I went with white, sort of a soft white on this one, the first one. And the next one I went with a blue. And the next one I went with purple. And then the one on the back, there's 4 of them in a row. This one is got red and green lights. And as a matter of fact, it's straight on the string. In other words, there's a red one, a green one, red, green. And there's probably, I think there's 3 sets of lights on each of those bushes. And I really like that look. Now, here's some items that are between the bushes. There's Santa Claus. You can see his right hand going up and down, waving to us. And I'll put the mailbox next to him. Next to him is a snowman, and then next to the snowman is a reindeer. Well, no, not a reindeer. I guess just a deer. And then next to the deer is a gingerbread man. And then next to the gingerbread man is a bear holding a wreath. Now, you can see the bush that's right of that bear holding the wreath. And the idea I had there was, that one there is sort of between Danny's property and my property. The idea was to put, I had 2 sets of starlights which were red. So there's 10 in each set. So there's 20 red stars. And I thought, if I had a bunch of they're actually patio lights, but I really like them because they look like berries, the size of maybe the end of your little finger, and they're shaped like a berry. So my idea was to put different sets of berry lights on it. So I don't know. I would guess I probably have maybe 10 sets of berry lights on there. Anything from lime color to pink to aqua to purple to green. There's even a lemon color on there. So when you're looking at it up close, it almost looks like a tree that's got kind of like red roses on it, and then there's berries all over the tree. It looks pretty pretty. A lot of folks like it. Okay, let's go back here. Down below this white bush is, of course, that's a goose with a Santa hat on. Then there's 3 presents there. There's red, white, and blue. I like this guy. He's a panda. Picked him up last year in, I think it was Berwick. Yeah, it was Berwick. He's a panda bear, and he's holding a lantern in his hand. Next to him is a crystal buck, and you can see that the buck is moving his head. He's moving his head from back and forth, left to right. You can see it clearly. Next to that buck is a well. It's a little well, and I decided to color. I just rather light. I decided to light that up the other night with pink lights. So I just wanted that color there. So I had some pink lights. I had 1 set of 70 LED lights, and so the well has got pink lights on it. Right behind the well are 3 little branches, and they are gumdrops. Kind of cute, really. It's 3 little gumdrop bushes, and it's right behind. And I'm moving now. Right behind the well, and they're gumdrop lights. Kind of cute. Next to the gumdrop lights is a doe, which really it matches the buck. It's the same as the buck is, only this doe is moving her head up and down as she's feeding. So it's a feeding doe. Of course, you can see the crystal swans, which are in the runway. Next to the feeding doe over here, this is supposed to be a snowboarding fawn, I keep thinking it looks more like a rabbit, but it's supposed to be a snowboarding fawn. Nonetheless, you can see that the arms are going back and forth. So it's kind of neat, really. Haven't seen another one like it anywhere in my travels. Snowboarding fawn. Next to the snowboarding fawn is it's a polar bear, crystal polar bear. And then next to the crystal polar bear are two penguins, the mama penguin and the baby penguin. They're pretty cute. They're also on the front, set's also on the front porch. Here is another one of those trees changers. Only this one here is white, straight white, and this is one of my favorite items, and it also is a favorite item of anybody that comes here. They just love this. So it goes through patterns and sequences, and all the lights are white, including the star, which turns around. Now we're into the area of what I call the second runway. There's actually two runways. One of them is set up with the suckers, I call them, or the lollipops, the changing lollipops. That's the first runway. And then that leads into the second, which is candy canes. It's set up with a bunch of candy canes, which are the same type of candy canes that I put bordering the porch. And the porch, to me, has sort of a gingerbread look because of those candy canes. Anyway, here's the second runway. To the right in the front is would be a reindeer and a sleigh, and they're a matching set. Right behind it would be a crystal snowman, and then right of the snowman is a pink buck, and I like the pink buck. Also opposite on the other side, left of the candy canes, is another pink buck. So I got a matching set. What I did, and I put them up facing in opposite directions. Behind the snowman and the buck is a tree, there's a bush, and I decided to put aqua patio lights in it. And so I think there's 8 or 10 sets of aqua patio lights. And aqua, I love the color. It's not really green and it's not really blue. It's kind of in between, I guess. It's a real pretty color, and it really lights that bush up really well. Of course, you can see the moose at the very back. That moose is, of course, just to the back, slightly right of that white tree that's changing. And that moose is a big sucker. I think it's got 250 lights on it, I think. Anyway, when the weather changed here and went bad on us, that moose went down. So me and a buddy had to go and we got him staked in the ground from 5 corners. So he ain't going nowhere. Just in front of the moose, sort of behind that changing, flashing white star thing, are basically they're white twigs, and again they're LED. I'll just move in here, you get a better look at them. You should be able to see them better now. I'll get a close-up on this stuff here in a few minutes. Just to the right of the twigs, as you can see at the end of that runway, are 6 flashers. I don't know what else to call them. And they're all pretty much flashing the same pattern, I guess. It almost gives you the effect of dancing water, like rain dancing on the water. At the end, or right after them, are a set of swans. Another set of swans, which is right before the candy canes on the end. Just before I get to the candy canes, just right of those flashers is a nice bush. I really like it. I like the color. It's a blue, but it's a dark blue. It's a pretty color. Let's go back to the swans. Behind the swan, we get to the candy canes, and these candy canes are quite talked about because they're so big. They're 7 feet high. I'm not just sure how wide. My guess is they're damn near as wide as they are high. So probably 6 feet, 5.5 feet wide, far from one side to another, and then but they stand 7 feet. And you can see the holly and holly berries between them. This item took some beating in the storms we've had here. It was bent right over, actually. I got an idea, and the idea was to put 2 8-foot 2x4s, one behind each candy cane against the frame. I got home hardware to make them to a point, and I stood on a step ladder and pounded them into the ground behind them, and then put a 2x6 braced, a 2x6 against each one, and the 2x6s are also braced together from side to side. Anyway, I don't think that sucker is going anywhere now, but she was bent right over. We've had some wind since, and it hasn't affected one darn bit. In the middle of the runway here, just back to where the second runway comes in the candy canes, there's 2 polar bears, and they're actually a mama bear and a baby bear. Mama's left, baby right. And then ahead of those is another polar bear, which is the one on the right, and a small little deer, which has got his head sticking basically up in the air. A few things I might have missed. I'm just getting closer now into where the second runway is, and behind the candy canes on the back is a snowman. You can see him. I like that snowman, actually. He's kind of cute. So I'm just kind of taking you closer, giving you more of a close-up. You can see the hedges now as I'm going to them. There's the one that's red and green, and here's the one that's got it's got the berry look to it with kind of the red roses on it. And then here's the purple one, and there's the blue one, and there's the white one. And here's the side of the house. There you can see the wreaths, 2 white ones and a multicolored one, and then of course if you look at the edge of the house, there's different colors along the just below the eaves there. And there's the stars, and then there's the trees. There's a couple of angels in the windows, and there's a couple of lit up trees there. I guess that's all I'm going to do tonight. I'll do more probably tomorrow and talk a bit more about why I did it, and it's getting pretty cool out here now. My hands get damn near frozen, but I'll talk more about the plan, and we'll go from there. Alright, later, bye. Yeah, we're heading back outside. There we go. I don't know if I pushed anything. Hopefully I didn't. What do we got? I think what I did was I hit the zoom. I think I got the zoom in. I'm back out here now. It's the same night, the 29th of December, and I got a glove on my hand now so not to freeze. There There's the 7-foot candy canes. I guess getting a zoom of that is kind of neat, really. And you can kind of get an idea. There's the angel, which is between the two of them. And there's the twinkling swans, which are right in front. And there's also that blue bush. I'm just over here by the garage now, kind of looking at it from an angle. You saw it from the front earlier. There's a snowman, and those are those flashers, and you can see them up close, the effect that they have. I'm just going to move to the garage for a minute. On top of the garage, of course, there's the crystal sleigh. And of course there's the giant wreath. Actually, this is not working out that good because it's just this whole zoom thing. I don't know how to get off this zoom, to tell you the truth. I'm going to try this, see if this works. Yeah, this is second take, January 1st. I finally got out here for some more pictures. That's the front. There's the porch. Candy canes on the bottom that surround it. The different there's the peak there. Different items are on the front. You can see the Snoopy there. Snoopy on top is on the top of his house. You get the little penguins, or the penguins on each side of him. Little one and the bigger one. And you get some. You get a snowman, and you get the angel. Other snowman. There's a crystal-looking snowman. That would be a goose, yes, with the Santa hat on his head there. That's another type of snowman next to the goose. And on the end is another snowman. There's a rhododendron with white lights, red lights. There's a string of Santa Clauses in the middle. There's 5 of them. And then I've got some candy canes all over it, and of course they're lit up, the LED lights. These are changers, as you can see. They're going through their sequence. They're shaped, I don't know, like a candle bulb or whatever. They're going through their sequence. And over here we got the crystal reindeer with a sleigh behind it, crystal snowman, and then we got the angel, which on each side of the angel are a gold buck on the left and a doe on the right. All right, let's move over here. Just on the side here, you can kind of get it from this angle too. You can see the edge of the porch there too. There's a tiny tree up there and another snowman, which is on the edge of the porch there. It's surrounded by green lights. As you can see on the porch, those were green lights. This section is surrounded by blue lights. This one is surrounded by off-white lights. And over here, the door is surrounded by red lights. The window is surrounded by red lights. And there's multicolored lights around well, this section here. As you can see on the top, we got those hanging icicle types. You can see right there. There's a section that's actually burned out, but it's worked out pretty good because it's not that noticeable. It's almost like I planned it. Merry Christmas there, seasons, greetings there, and Joyeux Noël over there. On the top we got a flashing star. There's actually a same star beneath it, but I chose not to make that one flash. There's 8 sequences on that type of star. In the windows from the inside are candles, and then on the left of each of the windows, left and right of each of the windows, is a tree, a lit up tree. Alright, let's take it over here to the lawn, the main lawn area. I'll just kind of scan the side of the house, and there's the garage in the back, and this is the main lawn area, going over onto Danny Corbett's property, because I used some of his property. I'll go over here to the front of Danny Corbett's house. I put some stuff over here, which he encouraged me to do if I wanted to, so no issue. This is in front of Danny Corbett's house, on his front lawn. A little small lawn on the front there. Got a doe, golden doe, and a golden buck. Just to the right of the buck is a flashing light show unit, and it's multicolored. I'll just let you look at that there for get an idea what's going on with that. I'm going to try a zoom. I don't know whether this will work or not, but we'll try it. No harm, no foul, I guess. That's a zoomed in on her. Next to that item is a golden sleigh with a golden deer, and there is a silver sleigh with a silver, I guess that's a snowman skater, I guess it is. I'll get rid of the zoom here, back to the normal situation there. Alright, okay, so let's go. These are the bushes that I decided to put bulbs on. That's off-white bulbs. Standing right or in front of this bush is it's actually a cow holding a Christmas present. The next bush is blue bulbs, and in front of it is Santa Claus, and you can see his hand going up and down, the left hand there. And there's a mailbox just to the right of him. And then down here in the front, you see there's a goose, the Christmas hat, and 3 presents, red, white, and blue. Down here, which is one of my favorite items, is it's actually a panda bear, and he's holding up a lantern. In the front here, which is right at the front of where the runway starts, Got Noel on the left and snow on the right. And there's the runway. And the runway is made up of sucker changers that go through a sequence. You see there's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 sets in that in the sucker changers, and they all do the same thing. They're all doing the same sequence. In other words, when they go to red, they all go to red. When they go to green, they all go to green, and so on and so forth. You can see right behind snow in the middle of the beginning of the runway is a beautiful, I really like it, it's a bush, which is a bunch of LED white lights, and it's set up like little flowers, and actually I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's little tiny presents on it. Ahead of that are 2 swans that sparkle. Let's go over here. Okay. On the right of the mailbox is a snowman. Next to the snowman is a gold deer, and then there's a gingerbread man, and then there's a bear holding a wreath. And next to the bear, in front of that bush with all the colors on it, is a penguin. That is actually a penguin. Now, next to the blue bush is I guess that would be purple on that third bush. And then the one at the back is actually red and green. We've got 3 sets of lights on that, and they actually go red, green, red, green. That bush that you see here with all the lights on it, that has got, excuse me, got a pile of sets of lights on it, but they're berry type of lights. They're shaped like a berry. They're actually classified as what did they say they were? Patio lights. That's what they said they were. Patio lights. So people usually buy them in the summertime. Anyway, there's 20 rather, red stars. So it's 2 sets of 10 that I bought, and it was the only 2 sets they had in the store. And my idea was to put the 2 sets on to the tree, and then surround the sets with a bunch of different colors of berry lights. I've got lime, I've got lemon, I got pink, I got aqua, I got purple, and I'm probably forgetting one. But anyway, it's a whole pile of them on there. Okay, down here, which is left of the runway, there's a crystal buck moving his head back and forth. Behind the buck are 3 little tiny gumdrop bushes. Actually, it's kind of, let's see if I can, I don't imagine zooming in on that. I'll try it. Anyway, you can see them there. They're actually gumdrop lights. Pretty weird, actually. I suppose if you get too close, you're going to get fuzzy probably, but anyway. Oops. So they're gumdrop lights. Behind the buck is, that's a well, and I decided to put pink lights on it. So that's a well that stays there in the summer, and we plant flowers around it, or in front of it, whatever, and we got pink lights on the well. Okay, again, left of the runway again is a, that would be a doe that moves her head up and down. As you can see, the buck's moving his head left to, left to right. You see the buck moving his head there now. and the doe is like she's feeding, and she's moving her head up and down. And behind that doe is it's called a snowboarding fawn. Now to me it looks a bit like either a dog or a rabbit. But you can see his arms that are moving in and out. I'm going to get a little bit closer here, see if you can perhaps make things out maybe a little bit better. So let's see, there's the fawn, snowboarding fawn, and next to the fawn is it's a bear. I would say it's a polar bear, this crystal polar bear. Next to the polar bear are two penguins, which are the same type of penguins that are on the porch. There's the mama penguin and the baby penguin. Behind the penguins, which is between that bush and that pink buck, are these, same as the multicolored one over here in front of Danny's lawn. Only this one is the white one, and this is the one I like the most. The white lights gives quite an effect. It's streaming down on there's 5 bars, and the lights are sequenced on those 5 bars with a star that has a look at the star spinning on the top. I don't know whether zooming in will give us anything on that or not. It might. Try a bit of it. Anyway, that's a very popular item. Then of course you can see like I said, the pink buck. I'll come back to regular here. Okay. Now we're into the next runway. Basically my idea was to have a sucker runway that kind of fed or led into the second runway, and that's what I call them, runways. The second one is candy canes. It's those candy canes that are 2 feet high or whatever, and you stake them in the ground. My idea was to put them in a line, 2 rows of them. I think there's probably a dozen or more in each row. And in between I've got a polar bear on the left, which has got the hat on. The baby one on the right, they're sort of a matching set, I guess. Behind the polar bears in the runway, on the left is a tiny deer with his head up in the air, and then another type of polar bear next to that little deer on the right. Just before the runway, made of candy canes, is a matching set of a sleigh and well, it would be a deer or whatever, reindeer. Behind them, you can see that there's a bush lit up with aqua lights. It looks kind of like green, but not green and not blue. It's actually aqua patio lights, and there's probably, I imagine there's 8 sets on there. In front of that bush is another pink buck, and then left of the pink buck is a crystal snowman. That's a crystal snowman right there. You can see off in the distance, and I'm going to get a little bit closer here in a minute. Maybe I can zoom in here. Let's just see. See what's going on. Okay. You can see the moose. The moose is up on, well, it's actually on Danny's lawn. And next to the moose, I think that moose has got a couple 150 lights on it, I think. Next to the moose is a silver deer, and then behind well, let's say to the end of the runway on the left, you can see there's some they're actually sort of a grayish silver twigs. You can see them in the ground. I've got 6 of them in there. Behind those twigs is a goose, and you can see the Santa hat on the goose. And then just to the right of the goose, well, actually back a little bit, is a doe. You can see her head moving up and down. She's another feeding doe. She's actually a little bit different than the feeding doe over here. Her ears are different, but same type of thing, feeding doe. There's the giant candy canes on the end, and I will get to those in a minute. You can see the holly berries. That candy cane setup is 7 feet high, and in the weather we had here, they were bent over. I didn't know whether I could salvage them or not, but I rigged up, I don't know if you can see it on here or not, but on the top of each candy cane there's some wood that's poking out over top. That is actually, there's 2 2x4s, 8 feet long, and I pounded them into the ground, sharpened them up, pounded them into the ground, standing on a stepladder, and I had a couple of buddies of mine with me, and they're behind the frame, so now the frame can't bend. And they're braced by 2x6s, which are also braced. So, bring on the weather. That sucker ain't going to bend again. You can see at the end of the runway are these flashers. There's 6 of them. And they kind of look like, I find, like if you're out here watching it, it almost looks like water. Like rain dancing on a lake. At the end, well, behind those are 2 swans, and then of course between the candy canes is an angel. Now I'm gonna just stand here over to the right of the swans is a bush, and that is, it's actually a bush that I bought, and it's colored in blue lights, and I really like the color. I don't know if I can zoom in on that or not. Anyway, okay, I'm going back to standard here now. Okay, now I'll move up a little bit. In front of the bush is another snowman, and it's quite cute actually. Okay, let me see. I'm going to go in front of the garage. Oh, before I do that, I probably should show you the side of the house. Here's some items that are on the side of the porch. There's the side of the house there, sort of from that angle. Now here's the side of the house. It's got Merry Christmas, Season's Greetings, Joyeux Noel, and 3 stars. The middle star is actually white and blue. I don't know if you can notice it or not, but there. Middle one's white and blue. The other ones are white. Yeah, okay. Alright, here's some other, there's a couple of trees, and then inside are 2 angels in the windows, and there's a Noel. I don't know if you can pick that up or not, but that's what it says. That's a Noel sign. Now the colors here are like around the, just below the eaves, there's purple. Now along those hanging lights, they're stars, and they're multicolored, like multicolored, like starred lights. But these are, so the set of purple here, which goes into a pink, which goes into a blue set, and then down each of those water drain pipe things or whatever, that's clear white lights. And around the window, well, 2 windows, are clear white lights. Let's move on to the garage. The garage, I'm going to get closer here. It's got a bow right over the door. Actually, it's a wreath, which is hanging above the door to the garage. And then, if you look at the garage, there's a sleigh on the top, and then there's these little flashing snowflake lights or whatever, which is the same as the ones that are on the porch. And you can see that the garage has got there's some changer lights on them, meaning that the lights are changing color, some of them. On the top, they're not changers, they're orange, which goes to a yellow. And then some of the others down on the face of the garage are changer lights. On the garage door is Noel. Then below that is a set of bells. And then below that is a wreath. It's kind of neat, really. It goes from red to gold to white. I'll just move over here and see what we can get for close-ups and whatever. There's the candy canes, and like I said, they're 7 feet high. I mean, I'm telling you, quite an item. I'll just, I mean, there's no point in zooming in that much because it's, but let's see. I can't remember how many lights are on it, but there's obviously quite a few. I'll just scan around here a little bit and show you things from close up. I don't know how well they'll take, but I'll just go back to regular focus here. So I'm down close to the garage now, obviously. I'm standing pretty much in front of the garage. Now inside the garage I have 2 Santa Claus faces and 2 trees, like one on each side there. Here's the side of the house again. There's, oh, I forgot about those. There's 3 wreaths above the door. 2 clear ones, and then a multicolored one on the top. And there's, of course, the door. And there's a set of off-white lights around the door. Just gotta moving it around a little bit here. Here's a different angle on those suckers. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but the reason why I did this is because it's been in my head for a lot of years, probably 30. I've been wanting to do something like this. I didn't think it was gonna, you know, that I'd do anything to this magnitude, but that's the way it turned out. What's taken so much time to do it, really, is placement of everything, like trying to figure out where everything fits. That's a really, I mean, you only have a certain amount of property to do it on. So, you know, I don't have acres and acres here, so you know, I had to make the most of every damn foot, and that's what some of the people are saying, that everything has a place, and it seems to all fit. And that there was a lot of thought into, and there was a lot of thought into where everything had to go. So, you know, it turns out to be not to like a jumble fuck. I'm back at the porch here. Just want to show you a few items on the inside of the porch. There's a reindeer there, and there's those same types of sparkling snowflake type things, and they have a sequence on them, and I can change the sequence to, you know, like there's 8 different settings, but I put them about the same as the garage. Sort of a slower, I mean, they can go right psychedelic, and I don't like that. It's crazy. Here's another star, which is the same as the 2 stars up top, but I decided to keep it just lit. Another star there, and between them is what they call it. I think they call it a nutcracker. I guess it's a soldier anyway. A pretty handsome devil. Here's the porch, looking at it from this angle. You can see, oh, I almost forgot about the bulbs. There's bulbs that are hanging and they're big. They're almost the size of a football. The one on the end is blue. The one right there on the right there is silver. And this one is green, I think. Yeah, I think it's green, yeah. You can see the Merry Christmas sign here, and I kind of rigged up a little scenario. That's my own creation. Got a little wreath there, and I got some Christmas bulbs around it. Anyway, it's my idea. On this thing where Snoopy, you can see there's 2 sleighs between the penguins and Snoopy. The one on the left is green, and the one on the right is red. And it's surrounded, the whole porch is surrounded with these candy canes. And this, when I started this idea, that sort of was my main starting point, was put candy canes around the porch and then build from there. Back here again to the tiny front lawn. I forgot to mention, on each side of this tree is a red mailbox. Well, red and white, I guess. There's one on each side. So that's pretty much it. I don't know how well I took these pictures, whether I zigged when I should have zagged, or because I'm not exactly somebody that knows what he's doing with one of these friggin' cameras. I'm just going to stand back here a little bit. Sort of a view of the front from a distance. And then you kind of get a view of the whole lawn area sort of from a distance. There's a pile of people coming in here. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable. So I think I'm going to shut her down. I'll probably tomorrow or next day take a few more shots. I've got a couple more reindeer that I'm planning to set up. That, you know, they're already assembled. So actually 3. It's just a question of you know, if I can't find the right spot for them, then I'm not going to put them up. I mean, I'm not just going to put something up for the sake of putting it up. If it's blocking something else or makes no sense, then it's not going. And I'll just save it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it so far. And I'll just give a little quick scan there. You can see Deborah's car is in the yard. And of course, there's my car there, and 'cause that's where I park it. Alrighty. Yeah, it's me again. I thought, just sitting out here, oh, that was my finger, sorry. I'd like to get this thing set up in my hand right here. I thought I'd show you, I'm sitting on the steps, kind of cold in the ass actually. I'm sitting on the steps, thought I'd give you the angle from sitting on my porch steps. Show you how it looks from that angle. You see the bushes and those sucker changers, and sort of see how it looks sort of from that angle. Kind of neat, really. I don't know whether the zoom, yeah, kind of neat, yeah. I guess if you just kind of zoom it a little, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with this damn thing. Good thing it's user friendly. Made for stupid people. Can't claim to be good at everything. I guess any more than anybody else can. I think I want to take a walk over and just kind of show some of the other from that same kind of angle. Now I'm on the side of the house. Oh, you can see me. I'm kind of moving a little here. There's the, I guess they're polar bears, I guess. Yeah. And those two pink bucks. And there's the crystal snowman. Of course, the candy canes are behind him. Those are those twigs I was talking about. Of course, the moose. I really like that bush. Like, it's got a bunch of, it's only aqua. And that was my idea, just to put only aqua on there. I had to drive around to find them all. Well, actually what I did was I called places and asked if they had them, and if they did, then I had them hold them for me. I tried to get the best deals I could and tried to beat them down when I could, and it actually worked out pretty well. Got that from my father. Never forget the time we went into, it was one of those places in Fredericton there, run by Jews, and he got a whole bunch of stuff and put her on the counter, and when the guy said how much it was going to cost, he said, "Oh, I can't pay that." So he he started to go out the door. He was heading for the door. I remember that. And me and Ronnie were behind him, and the guy hollered at him and said, "Oh, come back here. Come back here, Mr. Dupuis. We will see what we can do for you." So, Pop beat him down. I do the same damn thing. Christ, I'm doing it at Canadian Tires and Home Hardware, where it's unheard of. I'm getting deals wherever I go. I mean, you know, if you don't ask, we won't know. The bottom line is they're getting so much of my business, and I'm also promoting them, telling people where I buy stuff. So why in the hell wouldn't they give me deals? Okay. Oh, there's that changer thing again. Pretty popular item. Alright, I think I'm going to shut her down, and I'll come back out in the next couple of nights and finish up. See ya. Okay, we're back at her. You might notice I added a present. It's sort of a pink red next to Saint Nick there. just to keep going with her here. On the other side of the reindeer sleigh, there's a present there too. That one is white with a blue ribbon on it. I'll get a little closer to it. There, you can see it pretty good there now. In front of the garage, I added 2 reindeer. One's gold on the left there, and the other one is also sort of a gold, but a different. The bulk of flashers on them. In the middle of the runway, the second runway, I added a white present with a red bow on it. It's after that polar bear there. You can see it. It's right before those flashers in front of the swans. That was a good spot for it, so that's where I put it. On this runway, after the swans, I added these pathway markers. Kind of cute, actually. They're snowmen. One's blue, one's red. One's blue, one's red. Over here, next to the candy canes, I made a switch. I took the snowman, which was in the back of the candy canes on the right, and I moved him to, well, left of that pink buck. So just made a switch. Took the other snowman and put him in the back. I just didn't like the way that sparkly snowman at the back was reacting to the that bush there with the aqua lights on it. I just didn't like the look. So I switched snowmen, and I prefer it now. Here's another present. That one, as you can see, is pink, or pink red, next to Santa Claus. And then this one, next to the bear with a wreath on it, this one's blue. Anyway, I made 4 presents, and I put them in different spots. I'm just going to move around the grounds a little bit, which I didn't do the other day, and get some close-ups. You can see the buck's moving his head there. There's the well. There's the I guess this called gumdrop trees. I guess that's what they are. The bulbs are shaped like a gumdrop. And there's the doe, and the doe is feeding. You can see the head moving up and down there. There's the snowboarding fawn. Give you a bit of a close-up on that guy. I don't know, I'll put a zoom on it. I don't know if it'll do anything. Oh,